Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session designed to help a client that really felt that they were on a healing journey. They had a very traumatic childhood, recent bereavement, and at the same time had made a lot of progress, incredible amounts of progress in terms of confidence, feeling that they could speak up for themselves, actually be able to do and go to the places that they want, and felt better setting boundaries. And yet there was a feeling of more work needed to be done. And they kept using the phrase healing. And I think healing can be a very empowering metaphor for changes. In many ways, the whole industry uses the medical model or the healing model as a metaphor for change. Quite often we call it mental health. And that's good in a way if the goal is to be, let's say, optimal, to have excellent health, well-being, vitality in a mental way. But it can lead to a presupposition that if you're going through difficult emotions or intrusive thoughts, that then somehow you're sick or diseased or broken. And that's a belief system based on a metaphor, a model, which isn't true. It's just potentially useful in the right context. What you're going to hear in this hypnosis session is a session that builds on the previous metaphor, but rather than continuing this healing journey, is to change the healing journey into a learning journey. When I work with clients, I don't believe that my clients are broken or diseased or there's something wrong with them. I believe that they have learned to do certain things that are not useful. They've built belief systems or values or coping strategies that are not conducive to where they're at. And I use the learning model rather than the sickness model because I find that I'm able to create better change that way. So what you're going to hear is a hypnosis session that starts off with a healing metaphor and then moves on to a learning metaphor, but is designed to be empowering to build on the foundations that are already there. I think if you have suppressed your voice, if you feel that you can't be who you want to be, or you feel that there's something, let's say, sick or wrong with you, then this might be a useful way to reframe the sickness into an observation that maybe you've just learned things that aren't helpful or useful for you. If you feel like a bespoke session may be useful for you, there will be a link in the show notes where you can schedule a free consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed to relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow feelings of stress or tension or worry to feel like it's just dissolving, melting away, being released, and feel it leave your body in that outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, just notice your eyelids getting more and more relaxed. Tiny muscles in your forehead, eyebrows, give permission to let go. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice that the slower and deeper you breathe, the more of that tension or stress or worries melt away and leave your body in that long outward breath. As you start to scan your body for echoes of tension, your eyelids getting heavier and heavier, just notice the tiny muscles in the back of your neck starting to release any tension. As you start to imagine how it would feel if your head was as light as a helium balloon. You don't need tension in your neck or your shoulders to keep your head upright. Just imagine it's doing it all by itself. Loosen the muscles in the jaw as you feel like you're drifting downwards. I want you to imagine how it would feel if there was a portal into your imagination. Sometimes you can just imagine a bright light in the center of your forehead. Some people would call it the third eye, being a way of accessing inwards. And I wonder if your imagination could imagine the entire universe inside your imagination. Imagine floating up and going into your own mind through that shining light there in the middle of your forehead. And as you go inwards, notice how expansive your imagination is. A world of limitless potential. Galaxies, planets, in this universe within your imagination. Every experience, every moment. And I want you to imagine somewhere in that vast universe is a healing planet. Everything about this planet heals. Imagine touching down on that healing planet inside your imagination. The atmosphere heals as you breathe. Imagine all the plant life on this healing planet emitting subtle compounds and enzymes that heal, that even the sickest person on Earth, spending just a few moments on this healing planet, would heal rapidly and radically, transforming. In the past, the sick and the weak would go on a pilgrimage to drink water, healing water. Ailments would disappear. Anxieties would evaporate. Low mood, sad feelings would be replaced with a sense of perspective or optimism or hope. And I want you to imagine there is thermal springs in a lake in this healing planet. Imagine wearing whatever clothing is suitable to bathe in these healing waters. As you start to imagine that whatever needs to be healed is already healing and will soon be healed. Sometimes there's a perception of sickness long after the healing has occurred. a human can feel an itch or a tickle on a limb that's been amputated many years before. It's possible for a human to feel pain long after the healing has taken place. So allow your subconscious mind to make an evaluation that you've been on a healing journey. You are healing right now. You are soon to be healed. And at the point where you're healed, your healing journey will become a learning journey. And if your unconscious mind is happy to make this transition from healing to learning, let me know by nodding your head. As you breathe in that healing air, as you feel the warm thermal healing waters, you're making the evaluation that you're healing physically, emotionally, and psychologically. Everything is healing and soon to be healed. That's it, breathing in and breathing out. And I want you to imagine that you're about to have a nap in these healing waters. The waters, the oxygen, continue to heal as you imagine going inwards into a vast library within your imagination. And all these library books represent everything that you've learned so far. I want you to imagine perhaps tens of thousands of books in this library. Everything you've ever learned is in these books. And as you look around at all these books, I want you to make the evaluation that 99% of everything you've learned is useful. You don't want to change the way that you walk. You don't want to change certain beliefs you have about the sun rising and the sun setting. You're happy reading the way you read. You're happy that your heart knows to beat the way that it beats. And make the evaluation that 99% of everything that you've learned is useful. But I want you to imagine that there's the possibility that 1% of everything that you've learned may have been useful at one point in time, but is no longer useful now. You learned things as a child, a vulnerable child, not in control of your own decisions and destiny. Therefore, what you learned as a child isn't necessarily useful as an adult with autonomy over your decisions. Maybe there was a moment in your past that you learned to keep quiet when you wanted to speak up. Allow your mind to find the library book that represents that lesson. That you learn to invest huge amounts of energy to suppress your voice. Knowing what you now know, you might like to change that lesson learned. And maybe the lesson is that you don't need to suppress that voice anymore. It requires zero effort to stop holding something down. In fact, you're rewarded with even more energy because you don't need the energy to suppress that voice. As you make that evaluation, Notice a lightness feeling that it's growing within you. Imagine the tiny muscles around your vocal cords relaxing. That you feel you can speak up whenever you want. And because you now have a new book in the library of your vast experience, you no longer have to suppress your voice. There is a big difference between not being able to talk and choosing not to. I want you to get a sense that if you can use your voice whenever you want, the voice becomes less important than when you want to use it. So feel that you are unlocking the resources to be discerning, confident, assertive, to use your voice when it serves you, and to decide not to use it when it doesn't. Knowing that there will be occasions that you only learn that lesson after you've already used your voice. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to find a book on vulnerability in this library of your experience. Maybe see pictures of your childhood where you needed to be vigilant, resilient, on guard, alert. And while that was useful for your childhood, it may actually be counterproductive in your present and your future. Just because you can raise your shield, have your guard up high, doesn't mean you have to. As you feel empowered to be vulnerable when you choose to be vulnerable, and to have strong, tough boundaries when that is preferred, I want you to create an image in your mind of a cat. Cats are happy to be stroked, but only with certain people. They know when to be vulnerable and to let their guard down. But that doesn't mean their claws disappear. They're just choosing not to use them. I want you to feel that you have sharp claws, sharp teeth, infinite confidence, because you know you can use your voice, have those boundaries, actually empowers you to be more vulnerable than ever before. You are choosing to be vulnerable, not being forced to. So breathe in and breathe out as you open your mind to new ways of thinking. You can acknowledge the strength it took to heal. Seeing your confidence to use your voice as a sign of your healed self. But now is the time to embrace your journey of learning, where each day brings new knowledge and opportunities to grow. You already know that old beliefs and behaviors are just lessons from the past, and you can appreciate their role, but now choose which ones to keep and which ones to update. As you see this library becoming futuristic, feel that there is infinite updates that are starting to take place in your mind. That your unconscious is taking all of your experiences, keeping what's useful, and just replacing the stuff that isn't with more useful ways of thinking and being. Because you can treat your emotions as guides, signaling directions and choices that lead you towards the most beneficial paths in life. Feel the power in your voice, a testament to your healing and a tool for your ongoing learning, as you let curiosity lead your way, turning every experience into a chance for learning and discovery. That you can release past coping strategies that no longer serve you, as you start to make room for new methods that support your current life and situation. You are not your past. You've just learned from it. Feel empowered by the knowledge and the experiences you acquire, knowing that each piece of learning makes you stronger. And interpret challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, shifting your perspective to see the benefits in every situation. The fixed mindset of the past is evolving, giving evidence of a growth mindset, where you see the potential for learning in almost every aspect of your life, which itself gives you the opportunity to move forward with confidence, knowing that your healing journey has prepared you for your ongoing learning journey. There are many ways of learning, through books, videos, audio. You can learn from the past, and you can learn from the present. You can learn by reflecting on your own experiences. A great question for learning is to ask yourself, knowing what I now know, what does it make sense to think, believe, or do? So that you can integrate new supportive beliefs that move you forward, not hold you back. Rather than doubting decisions, why not feel confident in your decisions, but learn quickly when your decisions don't go to plan? Experience joy in the process of learning. They say there is treasure in the trauma, but also pain is a great teacher. Your moments of sadness, your moments of worry, your moments of defeat or anguish may end up being your very best teachers, because you can develop new strategies for living that are informed by your learning, those that resonate with your current life goals. But learning is only useful if it leads to progress. So celebrate your progress, not only in healing, but in how much you've learned and will continue to learn, the evidence of which is your life. So embrace being an eternal student of life, always open to lessons, growth, and a beautiful complexity of your journey. And start to see your future self applying these principles. See yourself empowered, using moments of sadness as signposts or lessons to make changes, to inspire, to motivate, not hold you back. to use that powerful voice when it serves you, not for the sake of using it. Your voice is a tool, and you will use that tool wisely. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel like you're leaving the library and find yourself back in a healing, warm pool of water. And if your unconscious now feels that you've healed what needed to be healed, now is the time to learn and apply your learning. Let me know by nodding your head. That's it. In which case it's time to leave this pool, rise up, leave the healing planet, but taking all the healing with you. As you feel like you're now inside your mind, about to leave your mind through a portal in your forehead. And as you leave that portal, find yourself now back in your own physical body, here in the present, the here, the now, taking all of these changes with you. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, connect fully with the present moment, understanding that all of this are just thoughts within thoughts, ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams, but it's time to awaken. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.